I'm sort of surprised that they don't want to bring it to the US. Welcome back to Car-Pinionated, our weekly show on cars, the car industry, and driving in general. I'm Doug Stewart, digital executive producer, and this is my friend Glenn Packman, who is a car enthusiast, Fairfield County resident, and just all-around good guy. Jeff couldn't make it, so we miss him. But we're going to talk about, and this happened a while back, but we're going to talk about it because I think it's a really interesting topic, and it's my show. So Toyota introduced their Land Cruiser FJ, and it looks like this is something that they are planning on selling in Japan and other Asian markets. It is a very compact SUV with big off-roading capabilities. And so a brief history of the Land Cruiser is it dates back to the early 50s, and it was essentially Toyota's version of the Jeep, the Willys Jeep, and very basic, very bare bones, but could go over anything. And over time, they got bigger, they got more station wagony, but they became legendary. And they started selling in America in 58. And if you look at those, they are very bare bones. There's a metal dash and some instruments and a big shifter in the middle, and it's got four-wheel drive and a lot of jouncing around. But legendary is what they can be described as this. And of course, as time goes by, they get more luxurious and they get more car-like, which happened with Jeeps and it happened with Land Rovers and all this other stuff. Eventually, Toyota, because there was too weird a product mix between the Toyota Land Cruiser and the Lexus version of Land Cruiser, that they were really close in price, that Toyota decided, well, we're not going to sell the Toyota in America anymore, and we will just sell that big Lexus. And a lot of people missed it, and so they came back within the past year and a half, and they sell the Land Cruiser again, but it's a smaller Land Cruiser. It's based on the same platform as the 4Runner and the Tacoma and the Tundra and the Sequoia, and I think I got them all there, and some Lexuses. Lexus. I've heard that it should be Lexuses, not Lexi. And so one of the in that weird period, you remember this, Glenn, that there was a weird period where Toyota made well, that's a wacky idea. Let's make that.
Yes. Yes.
I think the entire Scion line could be summed up as that. They made the FJ, which the name harkened back to the very early Land Cruisers. And it was this oddball vehicle, kind of weird looking, kind of cool. Three wipers on the front, a big rounded windshield, odd doors, kind of these things. And they sold I don't know, I think they sold them for about 8 or 9 years, maybe. It was just a single generation. And they were popular-ish, but they have retained their value in crazy amounts over time.
Really?
They've introduced this FJ, Land Cruiser FJ, which is a smaller kind of version of the a little bit of FJ, a little bit of Land Cruiser and stuff like that. What are you thinking about this new Land Cruiser FJ?
I should like this. I like the Land Cruiser itself, the new Toyota Land Cruiser a lot, as a matter of fact. And I should like this because anybody who watches this knows that I'm more of the smaller the better kind of thing. Not too small, but so I like a more compact Land Cruiser. That totally works for me. And this iteration, the idea behind this works. And then there's two things that just murder it dead for me. Okay. The first off is in the versions that I'm seeing from specifically from Toyota and just, in, pictures online, the the bottom portion of the car is all black. Okay.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then there's the colored body portion on top, and it looks
Hmm.
like two pieces that snap together like Legos. There was a like toy car where you did that, where you snapped it together.
Hmm.
Um, I I don't like I do not like this at all.
Hmm.
I've seen worse, but it looks like two cars. It just looks like
Hmm.
two cars sandwiched together. So that's my more minor of the complaints. Oh, and just a sidebar. I'm And for anybody listening, this is just me, my opinion, only me. You don't need to tell me I'm horribly wrong if you think I am, but I hate black wheels. I can't stand them.
Oh,
I,
oh, I'm totally there with you.
Thank you. Thank you. And you know what? I got a sidebar again because I'm Mr. Sidebar. I should have it tattooed right here. Um, I was just looking at the Ford Maverick on how you
Hmm.
can option this out. If you don't get the cheapy tin wheels,
Hmm.
they're not tin, but you know what I mean.
Steelies, yeah.
On the base model, you have
Hmm.
to go all the way up to the Lariat version to get wheels that aren't solid black.
Hmm.
I don't like solid black wheels. They make the car look heavy.
Hmm.
They make it look, I know some people just adore them. I don't. I don't. And that's what I'm seeing one after another on this car is nothing but the black wheels. So that's throwing me too. I really wanted to see what it looked like without that butt ugly back end on it. It just does what? Gah! It really, I like some of the shapes. I like where they're going with the styling, and then they get to that the back. Which pillar would that be? A, B, C, D pillar? The
See,
back pillar,
yeah.
which is way too.
Looks
It's
about a foot and a half long.
right. And again, the mind jump thing. The first thing I thought of is, holy crap, the blind spot that's got to create. And it's ugly. And then that that goes right into the completely flush, perfectly up and down uh, glass of the back, which
Hmm.
just no, no.
Hmm.
And I was like, yes, 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 no.
Hmm.
And I'm sorry. It would be the kind of thing where I'm like, I'm ready to buy the car. Nope, not going to buy the car. And I know it's just a styling thing, but I hate
Hmm.
it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It it gives the car a little bit of the feel of the Jeep Renegade.
Hmm.
And nothing wrong with the Jeep Renegade, but
At
that's a
least the
smart little
Renegade will look like about half that.
half of that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so now it looks like a Renegade that gained a lot of weight. It came out of the pandemic just 30 pounds heavier. But it just doesn't work, doesn't work for me. When I first saw the pictures, I was so prepared to love this. Like there's one in sort of a olive drab color with the round
Mm.
headlights in a three-quarter view, and I'm like, oh, yes, yes, I get it, that works. And
Hmm.
but you can't see that overtly wide D pillar. Oh God.
I think it's
And
a
now that
C.
I'm
Let's
looking at
call it
it,
a C pillar, I
a
think.
C pillar, a C
Yeah.
pillar.
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, C,
No,
C,
it's A B C.
D. Yeah, I guess it is a
It's
C
all
pillar.
yeah. If it
Yeah,
had a window, it would be a D pillar.
exactly. And there should be a D pillar.
There
Maybe
should be
that's
a
what I'm
window.
trying to
Right,
say. There
right.
should be a
Yeah.
D pillar on this car. And instead, they just got rid of the window
Mhm.
configuration. I just, nope,
Yeah. I'm
nope,
with you.
nope.
I'm with you. I don't like black wheels. For me, they say they're covered in brake dust.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's the first thing I think about. And I don't like them.
right.
If they have silver accents, I'm there, or they're silver in general, chrome, whatever.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't like the black under part doesn't
Mm-mm.
bother me, I think it looks rugged, fine, but you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of how your second gen um, RAV4 looked so much better when on yours because the cladding was
Mhm.
body colored, and
Right,
up to that point they had been uh, gray,
right,
and you
right.
would see them with the gray. It looked okay, but yours just looked really sharp when it was
Hmm.
all continuous color. You look at the what was the Element, the Honda Element, and that weird body cladding, and
Hmm.
then the later ones had the full body color, and it looked so much better. It was an odd little car, but
Yeah,
it looked so
yeah,
much better.
absolutely.
Um,
Um,
Go ahead.
I I'm going to say that it's almost like a vain admission, but you're talking about the 2002 versus the 2003 Toyota RAV4. I bought the 2003 because I could get it in black with the black body panels,
Mhm.
and boy, what a cute car! Totally,
Mhm.
totally improved the looks. I don't know why they ever came out
Yep.
with and they were only available in that shade of gray, which didn't match
Anything.
anything. If you got the silver, that was the worst choice because it looked like it clashed. It was
Right.
looked like a mistake,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that this leads me in the same direction. It's not as bad as the current Toyota slash Subaru electric vehicle that they insist on showing in white all the time with the black panels here and there. Let's put one here and maybe one
Mhm.
here and one
Mhm.
here and just uh, were they going for a stormtrooper look on the car? The Star Wars stormtrooper version? I don't get
Yeah,
it.
yeah. We'll
I
we'll go back. We'll go back to our. It doesn't need insurance because it can't hit anything. Um,
right.
um, we've made that joke
Brilliant.
before, folks, and
Yeah.
we recycle our humor here because we figure not everyone watches every episode.
Right.
But you should.
Good.
I like this. I agree with you about the back window and the visibility. I don't
Yeah.
that bothers me. I like the fact that again they have two different front ends. They have a round headlights and they have the rectangular headlights. I think that's cool. Um,
Yep. Love that.
uh, I'm sort of surprised that they don't want to bring it to the US. I really think that it would round out their rugged SUV product line,
Hmm.
because you could do the step from this to a Forerunner to a Land Cruiser. I think that's a nice triumvirate of rugged SUVs. In the same way that you have, the RAV4, you have the next one up in the Highlander and the Grand Highlander and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, when you look at the dimensions, now it's 180 inches long, 73 inches wide, 77 inches high, and the wheelbase is a little bit less than 102 inches.
Hmm.
When you compare that with a two-door Jeep Wrangler, which is uh, um, shorter.
Hmm.
The length is 167 inches. The four door is 188. So the four door is a little bit longer than this FJ, and the two door is a lot shorter. The
Right.
height is about the same, the width is about the same, and the wheelbase for the Wrangler is smaller, but the four door is obviously bigger. Um, it's just, I think it fits size wise. And people saying, well, it seems real small, but it's not that much
Mm-mm.
smaller. It's within that Wrangler footprint.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I, maybe maybe they'll figure it out. Maybe they'll figure out this. Maybe they want to, you know, sell it in Europe for a couple of years, sell it in Asia for a couple of years, and then bring it here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who really love the Jimny. Is that the Suzuki? Is that right? It's what that it's a very tiny SUV
Uh,
that they did sell here originally, and then they had a lot of problems with it rolling over. So that was bad. But they've made numerous iterations since. I think there's I don't know. It may be one of those cars that enthusiasts say, "Oh, you should bring that here. You should bring that here," and then forget to buy it.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to take a break, and we are going to come back on something that Nissan is correcting a mistake that they made years ago. So we're back. Now, a while back, Nissan made what some people have called one of the biggest product mistakes in automotive history. And that would be getting rid of the Xterra. Now, the Xterra had two generations. It was sold from the early 90s to the mid 2000s. Um, Body on frame, small SUV, rugged, looked rugged, played in that space, was beloved by people,
Mhm.
but they did not decide to go forward for whatever reason. Um, and and I've mentioned before the probably billions of dollars that Nissan left on the table by not keeping the Xterra alive and looking. Now you look at what the Forerunner is and does, and how Toyota owns that market,
Mhm.
and Nissan's not in that game. So in the past couple months, they have said uh, we're bringing the Xterra back. Looks at 2028. We don't know what it looks like. There's a lot of AI generated stuff out there, but what we're thinking is that it's body on frame. It's got a V6. It's not going to be a luxurious vehicle, so sort of utilitarian sort of look, and it's the price will be in the $40,000 range, which probably ends up meaning 39.95, and then if you want X, Y, and Z, you're well into 40,000.
Mhm.
Which, okay, all right. To benchmark it, the low end Forerunner is $42,000, I believe,
Right.
41, 42. Um, as a well, what do you think about the Xterra?
Well, I have a little bit of family history with the Xterra. My dad bought one years ago, dark green, which was the color to have an
Yeah.
Xterra, and it really was. It
If it
just
wasn't
looked
that, it was yellow.
right, right, exactly. Yeah, did they sell any other color? I don't know, but
They did, but it
first
doesn't
off,
matter.
as of late, I've heard of a lot of quality issues coming from Nissan on their newer cars. Besides that, my dad's Xterra was a really successful car in that it went to 200,000 miles, got
Hmm.
handed down to my brother. I drove this thing a number of times and I was always, always impressed at how rock solid this
Hmm.
car felt. It felt like it was never ever going to squeak in any way, shape, or form because it felt like one molded mass of vehicle. And it
Hmm.
was heavy. I mean, you could just, and it was one of the few cars that really truly had all-wheel drive where it felt like it had all-wheel drive.
Hmm.
It just, I was always impressed with this car, and I was with you that I was just stunned that they took it off the market. Yeah, I kind of liked the old Xterra in that it had a roof rack that looked like you could pick the car up with it, you know?
Yep. Yep.
I love that. I love that. It had the little ladder thing at the back.
Hmm.
I don't even know what that's called. It's a ladder thing. But my point is, it looked like a car that you could confidently take off road,
Yep.
and that is kind of what I'm hoping they bring back. I have very fond memories of this car, even though it wasn't mine, but I sure as hell enjoyed driving it on the few instances that I did. Fingers crossed. I would
Yeah.
like to see Nissan get back on track quality wise. I think they need to.
Yeah, their biggest problem has been their transmit their CVTs,
Yeah.
which they're
Oh, oh,
resolving.
oh,
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah. Years ago, we test drove in one of the generations of the Altima and just huge thumbs down. The CVT was awful.
Yeah.
If I may, there were three things wrong with that car. The CVT was terrible. The interior looked so cheap. And the
Yeah.
brakes were the touchiest things I'd ever.
Huh.
You just touched these brakes and you were slamming to a halt, you
Yeah.
know? Both Bill and I drove this car and we both did this and we were like, No. Never, but I mean, like the interior of this car was, the Ultima is supposed to be a mid-range kind of thing,
Hmm.
just looked cheap. And I recently had a rental car that was um, what's it called? The
The
Rogue
cave.
Sport. It
Oh,
was the
right.
Rogue Sport.
Right.
And what an aggressively mediocre car. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like Nissan was striving to be mediocre in this car. Nothing
Well,
stood out.
they face a lot of They can't put a lot of money into their cars because they don't make a lot of money,
Right, right.
and
And that showed. And that
right.
showed. So the one
Were
thing I
you
will
were,
say about
go ahead.
it had a nice ride quality, but for the life of me, I would just no. It just
Mm.
it just was so cheesy, cheapy, just you know, um mm, no, no. So I'm hoping let's chuck aside those things and start getting back to some of the original Nissan DNA.
Yeah. So I'm looking at Auto Trader, and I have 5 matches for Xterras. And there
Okay.
are two that are 2008, 2007. They're a little bit less than $5,000. Then you have 2013, 2014, and 2015, which
Mhm.
range from 15 to $19,000. And they are within a range on mileage and special packages. One of them is a Pro RX. So it feels like they hold their value really well. Um, Again, because I think they're beloved. For some reason, I didn't remember that they were sold as late as 2015. Um, but I think they stood out in a crowd of a whole bunch of roundy SUVs,
Mhm.
CUVs. Um, don't remember if I've ever driven one, but I know I rode in one once and I really liked it a lot. Um, but yeah, I think this is just good on them. Good,
Yeah.
and I don't think you need to spend a whole lot of money on to design it if you just flopping it on a Frontier pickup truck chassis, um, and adding some doors and a longer roof. I had my 2001 Pathfinder. I just thought was a great car. I just
Right.
thought,
Right.
you know, it was well styled, it was solid, it was a unibody. That era, that generation was a unibody. Um, and but just it was great. It was a really great car. And I got rid of it because I felt like I was, at that point it was 17 years old and I
Yeah.
had 2 cars and I thought, I just want one car and I want to have airbags rolling around me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just good on them. I hope this comes I hope that they capture the DNA from the
Yeah.
original. I hope that they don't too much lipstick on it. I don't want to see too much craziness.
Right.
I think it has to appeal to a very specific market.
Right. Right. If I may praise Nissan for a second, I do think that they the current Pathfinder is a nice return back to what the car was supposed to, because
Yep.
the generation previous was just it was this big misshapen, overly sized thing
Mm,
that
yeah, it was very
just
globular.
yeah, it was supposed to be an SUV and it really looked closer to a minivan.
Mm.
And it didn't. I don't know.
Mhm.
I remember an article calling it the mall finder, and boy, that was it. That's
Mhm.
it. Whereas the new one really looks it is much sharper than the old, and
Mhm.
so good on them for returning back to that. But yeah, I'm looking at my dad's, which I think was a 2002. It had the round headlights
Mhm.
as
Yeah,
opposed to
the
the
first
square.
generation. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and it was just,
I like that a lot. I
it
like
had
that a
the tubular running boards along the side. It had that crazy ultra rugged roof rack thing.
lot.
I just kept picturing one of the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park kind of like, picking the thing up by the roof rack
Hmm.
and going, can't put it down,
It was, yeah, so we were just talking about the Wrangler and the Toyota FJ,
Hmm.
the Land Cruiser FJ, and the wheelbase on um, generation of, I think it's second generation of the Xterra was 104 inches. It was total 178 inches long. So wheelbase a little bit longer than the Wrangler, a little bit shorter in total length. Width is about the same, height's about the same. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, good on them.
Yeah.
I want to see, you know, I want to see them do well because I think more competition is better in the market and things like that. It sounds like they're moving in the right direction,
I
hopefully.
hope so. I hope so.
I still think they got to figure out, I think they just got to get rid of Infinity. Sad to say that, but I think that that's
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
have to do. So, all right, we're going to wrap this up. Another show is in the books. And remember that you can watch us on YouTube. We give thanks to the Techno stations that are airing our little program in Buffalo and
Buffalo.
Buffalo. WVEC in Hampton Roads, Norfolk area of
Nice.
Virginia, and WPMT Fox 43 in Harrisburg. So thanks, guys. Um, and with that, we will see you later.